half. We'll do about another 30 minutes, so we don't keep anybody here too long. We'll begin with another mantra or body sound, which you can participate in, as long as you got bodies and sounds. The words are very easy, because there's only one word and it's only one syllable. It's Ah. The mantra Ah. Om, Ah, Hum. Ah is purification of speech, traditionally, in Buddhist practice. It also is Ah in American practice, Ah, or Yiddish practice, Ah. Appreciation of the space where we are actually breathing. Ah is a measure of the breath out of the body. So it's awareness of breath, mixing breath with space, mixing mind with breath, mixing mind with space. Putting your mind out of your, let us say, body, out of your ego-centered body, and into the space we occupy in common. Ah, so no claustrophobia, real easy. Just breathing. Ah. Do it in different chords, and just do it slowly. It's best if you sit up straight to do that, if you want to do it. You can slow up later. Right now, alert. Appreciating here we are all together in the infinite spaces of the universe that center on the Woodmere itself. Stephen's voice can be heard. Raise your hand if it cannot. Can. So, in relation to that, I practice meditation, which basically is following the breath out like that, generally out of the nose. In Sanskrit, it's called shamatha. It's a very classical, old form of Buddhist meditation. Sitting up straight, ears in line with the shoulders, nose in line with the belly button, eyes open, not dripping, not going into a mystical swoon, just the actual space where we are, like this space, as the great void, this space here already. No place you have to look elsewhere. And breathing into that space. So paying attention to the breath. And as one breathes through the nostril, mind tends to wander away into daydream. And then one wakes. There I was in Manhasset. Back to Woodmere. Here. Back to the close to the nose again. So returning close to the nose always. Returning to where we are. So sitting practice and awakening from daydreaming, awakening from creating other universes. The reason I'm explaining this is the next poem is a poem written during a long period of sitting meditation several years ago. I was with a group of Buddhist friends, and we all sat 10 hours a day like this. Breakfast, break it up, sit a couple hours, break it up for lunch, sit, tea, sit, more supper, sit. 10 hours a day for several months. So we got into like a complete examination of all of the interruptions of consciousness. It was in Teton Village, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, near the Teton Mountains, and in a place we had taken over for the fall, which was off-season. An old ski lift was there at the ski village. We took the cafeteria over, like a room about this side, and put sitting pillows and rugs on the floor. There was a place like this where the meditation teacher sat with a microphone and lectured every evening. Those are like footnotes so you know what's going on in the poem. Thus, cross-legged, on round pillow, sat in Teton space, I breathed upon the aluminum microphone stand a body's length away. I breathed on the teacher's throne, the wooden chair with yellow pillow. I breathed further upon the cup of wine half emptied by the breathing guru. Breathed upon the green-sprigged, thick-leaved plant in the flower pot. Breathed upon the vast plate glass shining back the assembled sitting sangha in the meditation cafeteria. My breath through nostril floated out to the moth of evening beating into the windowed illumination. Breathed outward over aspen twigs trembling, September's top yellow leaves, twilight at the mountain foot. Breathed over the mountain, over the snow-powdered crags ringed under slow breath, cloud mass, white spumes, windy, across Tetons to Idaho. Gray ranges under blue space swept with delicate snow flurries. Breaths westward, mountain grass trembling in tiny winds toward Wasatch. Breezes South Lake, Autumn and Salt Lake's temple wooden streets. White salt dust lifted swirling by the thick leaden lake. Dust carried up over Kennecott's pit onto the massive unit rig. Out toward Reno's neon. Dollar bills skittering down street along the curb. Up into Sierra's, oak leaves blown down, fall, cold chills, over peak tops, snowy gales beginning, breath of prayer down on Kit Dizzy, horn green leaves close to the ground over Gary Snyder's tile roof, his temple pillar, tents and arbors in Sierra Mountain pine foothills. A breath falls over Sacramento Valley, roar of wind down the 6-lane freeway across Bay Bridge, uproar of pillars over San Francisco's Montgomery Street, pigeons fluttering before sunset down from Washington Park's white church steeple, Golden Gate waters white-capped scudding out the Pacific spreads, over Hawaii, a balmy wind through the hotel palm trees, a moist warmth swept over the air base, dank breeze in Guam's rotten customs shed. Clear winds breathe on Fiji's palm and coral shores. By wooden hotels in Silvertown, flags flutter. Taxis whoosh by Friday night's black promenaders under the rock and roll discotheque upstairs window beating with English neon. On a breeze into Sydney and across hillside grass where mushrooms lie low on cow flops in Queensland. Down Adelaide's alleys, a flutter of music from Brian Moore's dobro carried in the wind. Up through Darwinland, out Gove Peninsula green ocean breeze, clack of Aborigine Yirrkala song sticks by the trembling wave. Yea, in a wind over mercurial waters of Japan, northeast, a hollow wooden gong echoes in Kyoto's temple hall below the graveyard's wavy grass. A foghorn blowing in the China Sea, torrential rains over Saigon, bombers floating over Cambodia, vision tiny from stone Avalokitesh for as many faith towers, Angkor Wat and windy night. A puff of opium out of a mouth yellowed in Bangkok. A puff of hashish flowing thick out of a bearded sadhu's nostrils and eyes in Nimtala burning grounds. Wood smoke flowing in wind across Hooghly Bridge, Calcutta. Incense wafted under Buddha's bo tree in Bodh Gaya. In Benares, wood piles burn at Manikarnika, gath returning incensed souls burnt in flame to Shiva. Wind dallies in the amorous leaves of Krishna's Vrindavan. Still air on the vast mosque floor over old Delhi's alleyways. Wind blowing over Kausani town's stone wall. Himalayan peak tops range hundreds of miles along snowy horizon. Prayer flags flutter over Almora town's wood-browned housetops. Trade winds carry dhows through Indian Ocean to Mombasa or down to Dar es Salaam's riverside sailport. Palms sway and sailors wrapped in cotton sleep on log decks. A breeze up through Red Sea to Eilat's dry hotels. Paper leaflets scatter by the Wailing Wall, blown into the sepulchre. Mediterranean zephyrs leaving Tel Aviv. Over Crete, Lasiti plains windmills still turn after centuries near Zeus's birth cave. Piraeus, wave lashed. Venice lagoon's waters blown up over the floor of San Marco. Piazza flooded and mud on the marble porch. Gondolas bobbing up and down choppy waters at the Zatteri. Chill September fluttering through Milan's arcade. Cold bones and overcoats flapping in St. Peter's Square, Rome. Down Appian Way, silenced by grave sites. Stelae stolid on lonely grass path. The breath of an old man laboring up-road. Across Scylla and Charybdis, Sicilian tobacco smoke wafted across the boat deck. Into Marseille, coal stacks, black fumes float into clouds. Steamers, white drifts spume downwind all the way to Tangier. A breath of red-tinged autumn in Provence. Boats slow on the sand. The lady wraps her cloak tight round her bodice on top of Eiffel Tower's iron head. Across the channel, rough black-green waves. In London's Piccadilly, beer cans roll on concrete neath Eros's statue's silver breast. The Sunday Times lifts and settles on wet fountain steps. Over Iona Island's blue day in a balmy inner Hebrides breeze. Fog drifts across Atlantic, Labrador white, frozen blowing cold. Down New York's canyons, manila paper bags scurry toward wall from Lower East Side. A breath over my father's head in his apartment on Park Avenue, Patterson, New Jersey. A cold September breeze down from New York's East Hill. Cherry Valley's maples tremble red. Out through Chicago, Windy City, the vast breath of consciousness blows. Smokestacks and autos drift expensive fumes ribboned across railroad tracks. Westward, a single breath blows across the plains. Nebraska's fields harvested in stubble, bending delicate in evening airs. Up Rockies, from Denver's Cherry Creek bed, another zephyr arisen. Across Pikes Peak, an icy blast at sunset. Wind River peak tops flowing toward the Tetons. A breath returns, vast, gliding grass flats. Cow dotted into Jackson Hole, into a corner of the plains. Up the asphalt road and mud parking lot. A breeze of restless September. up the wood stairway in the wind, into the cafeteria at Teton Village, under the red tram lift, a calm breath, a silent breath, a slow breath breathes outward from the nostrils. A poem about the Mideast crisis, the eternal Mideast crisis. Called, you can wait, Ya-weh and Allah battle. Ya-weh and Allah battle. Ya-weh with atom bomb. Allah cuts the throat of infidels. Ya-weh's armies beat down neighboring tribes. Will Red Sea waters close and drown the armies of Allah? Israel's tribes worshipping the golden calf. Moses broke the tablets of the law. Zalman Schachter, Lubavitcher Rebbe, what do you say? Stone commandments broken on the ground. No Israel until the Messiah. Sufi Sam, what do you say? Shall the prophet's companions dance circled round synagogue while Jews daven bearded electric inside? Both gods, terrible, awful, Ya-weh, Allah. Both hook-nosed gods, circumcised. Ya-weh, Allah, which unreal? Which God is the stronger illusion? Which has the stronger army? Which gives the most frightening command? What God maintain his egohood in Eden? Which God be willing to be nameless? Which enter the abyss of life? The world of gods, jealous warriors, humans, animals and flowers, hell beings, even hungry ghosts, all vanish in a dream. Snake, pig, and cock eat each other's tails and perish. All Jews, all Muslims will die, all Israelis, all Arabs now living, Cairo's angry millions, Jerusalem's multitudes will suffer death's dream armies in battle one day. Yea, let the tribes wander back to tin camps at cold Europe's walls. Yea, let the million Palestinians sit in desert shanty towns with tin cups. I'm a Jew, cries Allah! Buddha, circumcised. Snake, bringing apples to Eden. Alien, wanderer, caller of the great call. What prophet born on this ground bound me eternally to Palestine, circled by armies, tanks, droning bomber motors, radar electric computers? What mind directed Stern Gang, Irgun, Al-Fatah, Black September, Meyer Lansky, Nixon, Shah, gangsters, premiers, kings, one-eyed General Diane, Golda Meir and Kissinger bound me with arms. Hitler and Stalin sent me here. Weizmann and Ben Gurion sent me here. Nasser and Sadat sent me here. Arafat sent me here. Messiah sent me here. God sent me here. Buchenwald sent me here. Vietnam sent me here. Milai sent me here. Lidice sent me here. My mother sent me here. I was born here in Israel, an Arab, circumcised. My father had a coffee shop in Jerusalem. One day the Jewish soldiers came and told me to walk down the road, my hands up, walk away, leave my house business forever. The Israelis sent me here. Solomon's temple and the pyramids and Sphinx sent me here. Ya-weh and Allah sent me here. Abraham will take me to his bosom. Muhammad will guide me to paradise. Christ sent me here to be crucified. Buddha will wipe all those folks out. The New York Times and Cairo editorialist Haikal sent me here. Commentary and Palestine Review sent me here. The International Zionist Conspiracy sent me here. Syrian politicians sent me here. Heroic pan-Arab nationalists sent me here. They're sending armies to my side. The Americans and Russians are sending bombing planes, tanks. Chinese, Egyptians, Syrians help me battle for my righteous house, my soul's dirt, spirit's nation, body's boundaries, myself's territory, my Zionist homeland, my Palestinian inheritance. The capitalist, communist, and third world peoples, republics, dictatorships, police states, socialisms, and democracies are all sending deadly weapons to my aid. I shall triumph over the enemy, maintain my separate identity, proud history forevermore, defend my own body here, this holy land, this hill, Golgotha, never forget, never relinquish throughout eternity, under Allah, Christ, Ya-weh, forever one God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, La ilaha illallahu, La ilaha illallahu, La ilaha illallah. Boy. Good. Boy. Good. Shalom. Shanti. Shalom. Last poem comes out of the this week's newspaper headlines. This is the last longest poem, then one very brief poem. As you may have read over the last week or so, first the Justice Department announced that it had investigated itself and that it did not really kill Martin Luther King. You read that in the paper? The Justice Department came up with a report saying that the FBI announces and the Justice Department agrees that they did not kill Martin Luther King. It is true that they persecuted him for 9 years. It is true that they don't know where the actual killer got all his money, and it is true that the actual killer, James Earl Ray, said that it wasn't him alone, it was a conspiracy. It's true he's been trying to get in court for years, but the Justice Department has announced that it didn't kill him, and if there's any unsolved thing, it's just like any other murder, who knows? You all read that in the papers, I guess, last week. Then the new Attorney General said, well, 2 days later, said, well, there are still unanswered questions. Maybe you better go talk to Mr. Ray. So this, of course, is a small matter. The king, one of many, 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 many illuminations of the police state, or police bureaucracy, police state activity has been widespread, more widespread than any of us have realized. And so here's a poem talking about that, written about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. Had to be playing on the jukebox, had to be flashing like the Daily Double, had to be playing on TV, had to be loudmouthed over the comedy hour, had to be announced over loudspeakers. CIA and Mafia are in cahoots. That's today's paper, yesterday's paper. The CIA hired Rosselli, a long thing in the New York Times about CIA hiring a Mafia guy named Rosselli in Chicago to kill Castro. They weren't sure whether they tried to kill Castro or disappointed that Kennedy thought that they killed Kennedy. They don't know that yet. Had to be said in old ladies' language, in cahoots. Had to be said in American headlines. Kennedy stretched and smiled and got double-crossed by the low-life goons and agents, rich bankers with criminal connections, dope pushers in the CIA working with dope pushers from Cuba, working with big-time syndicate, Santos Traficante, his name, in Tampa, Florida. Had to be said with big mouth. Had to be said by poetry, with poets talking. Had to be said in factory foghorns. Had to be said by car radio news broadcast. Had to be screamed in the kitchen. Had to be yelled in the basement where the uncles were fighting. Had to be foghorned into New York Harbor. Had to echo under hard hats in the editorials or newspaper pages of the Daily News. Had to turn up the volume in university ballrooms. Had to be written in library books, footnoted. Had to be in the headlines of the Times and Le Monde. Had to be barked over TV. Had to be heard in side alleys through barroom doors. Had to be playing on wire services. Had to be bells ringing. Comedians stopped dead in the middle of a joke in Las Vegas. Had to be the Mafia and CIA together started war on Cuba, Bay of Pigs, and poisoned assassination headlines. Had to be the dope cops and the Mafia sold all that heroin in America. Had to be Syndicate and Central Intelligence shot Kennedy, Dealey Plaza, Dallas, 63. Had to be Oswald, whose association with the police bureaucracy was never told in the Warren Report. Had to be FBI and organized crime working together in cahoots against the commies was their reason, who let Lucky Luciano out of jail during World War II to take over Sicily and the Mediterranean drug trade and drive the commies away. Had to be FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover and Frank Costello, syndicate mouthpiece, club lunching together weekends in New York, as reported posthumously by Time magazine. Had to be Corsicans and Office of Strategic Services, 1948, take over the docks of Marseille and New York with Corsican strike breakers, thus opening up Marseille for transshipment of heroin. Had to be ringing on multinational cash registers, worldwide laundry for organized criminal money. Had to be CIA and Mafia and FBI together, bigger than Nixon, bigger than the war. Had to be a gorged throat full of murder. Had to be mouth and ass, a solid mass of rage, a red-hot head, a scream in the back of the throat. Had to be in Kissinger's brain. Had to be in Rockefeller's mouth. Had to be Central Intelligence, the family, our thing, the agency, Mafia, organized crime, FBI, dope cops, and multinational corporations. One big set of criminal gangs working together in cahoots. Hitmen, murderers everywhere, outraged, on the make, secret, drunk, brutal, dirty, rich, on top of a slag heap of prisons, industrial cancer, plutonium smog, garbage cities, grandmas, bed sores, old folks' homes, which are garbage heaps, fathers' resentments. Had to be the rulers wanted law and order they got rich on, wanted protection, wanted war in Indochina. Had to be CIA, the Mafia, and the FBI, the multinational capitalists, strong arms squads and private detective agencies, and their armies, navies, and air force millions and bombing planes. Had to be capitalism, the vortex of this rage, this competition, man to man, hitmen, turf, and rumbles, like Kissinger wanted to bomb Cambodia because the Soviets had sent fighter pilots to man Cairo's fighter planes, which is against the ground rules of the agreement. Like Kissinger wanted to warn Italy against going communist, so he overthrew Chile. Turf and rumbles, horses' heads in the capo's beds, gang wars across oceans, secret police embraced for decades. They never kill each other. OGPU and CIA, KGB and DIA, NKVD and FBI, one mind. Brute force, worldwide, and full of money. Had to be rich, had to be powerful, had to have big houses in Long Island, had to hire technology from Harvard, had a murder in Indonesia, 500,000, had a murder in Indochina, 2 million, had a murder in Czechoslovakia, had a murder in Chile, had a murder in Russia, had a murder in America. one home and sing one last song, so that we will leave by 5:15. Where the years have gone, where the clouds have flown, where the rainbow shone, we vanish, and we make no moan. Where the sun will blind the delighting mind in a diamond wind, we appear, our beauty refined. Hard intellect and lusty beauty wreck but love's castled speck of moonbeam, nor is truth correct. Wise bodies leave here with a mind's false cheer, eternity near as beauty where we disappear. When sufferings come, when all tongues lie dumb, when bliss is all numb with knowledge, a bony white sum, we die neither blessed nor with curse confessed, wanting earth's worst best, but return where all beauties rest.